65% reduced risk of Alzheimer's and 66% reduced risk of dementia. That is
it's
huge.
Incredible. Like just that alone is like everyone needs this.
The information shared on the Rethink It podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only and should not be taken as medical advice. While Dr. Sande is a licensed medical provider, the content of this podcast is not a substitute for professional medical diagnosis, treatment, or advice specific to your individual health needs. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making any decisions related to your health or medical care.
Welcome back to the Rethink It podcast, the podcast where we challenge what you think you know about brain health, longevity, and healing. We are not here to chase symptoms or hand out quick fix Band-Aids. We are here to ask better questions. We rethink pharmaceuticals as your first answer and explore cutting-edge natural science. And most importantly, we empower you to partner with your body's natural, innate healing wisdom. And today we are actually digging into some of that cutting edge science. And this, I wouldn't say natural. I took that part off because this is actually high tech. Okay. I've read a book one time that said high tech pollution needs high tech solutions. We are very highly tech polluted in this country. We have pollution coming from industries, from our food, from our air, from our water. We have high-tech pollution, and sometimes it does require that we dig into some high-tech solutions. And then this podcast, we are doing just that. We are talking about infrared sauna therapy. And when I say infrared, I mean far infrared sauna therapy. We go into the difference between far infrared, near infrared, which near infrared, if you watch any reels, if you watch the Holderness family, I found myself just giggling because she's wearing her little near infrared mask, talking about what it's like to be perimenopause. But that is near infrared. That's a different technology than far infrared. And we do distinguish between that in this podcast. I bring on a guest today, Tiffany Dubec, and she is from High Tech Health, which is a sauna company. They do a lot of the research. It is the sauna that I have chosen to use in my home. I've had it for over 5 years. I love our sauna. And so I decided that it was time to bring her on because she can help us go over some of the research and why sauna is becoming very popular in the longevity world. But it isn't just for longevity. To be really honest, I didn't buy my sauna because I wanted to age great, age beautifully and, improve my longevity. That was not even on my radar. I bought our sauna because it was beneficial for my son. It was the most important tool we bought. Probably we spent the most amount of money on to help him get healthy through his Lyme crisis. So it has so many benefits. Being an infrared sauna can benefit your immune system, and the added benefit is it does improve your anti-aging ability. It reduces your aging speed and improves longevity. So there are these added benefits, and we go into all of that in today's podcast. So I think you're going to enjoy this conversation. I always say that, but I really think you're going to enjoy it. So I'm just going to leave it with that, and let's dive in. Well, welcome to the Rethink It podcast. Tiffany, I'm so glad you're here with us today. I am so excited for us to be talking about sauna. It is definitely something I talk about often, but it is something that it needs a dedicated podcast to really dig into the science and why I love it and why it's something that's actually growing in popularity, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
very
can
important.
you start us off giving just a little bit of your story? How did you get to working with High Tech Health?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. First off, this is great to be here and to share with your listeners. So, I've always been passionate about natural health and detox, and my background is in chiropractic. So, spent close to 20 years in that realm, all the natural holistic therapies. Um, yeah, just have a passion for all of that. And I'm now on the medical advisory board here at High Tech Health. So we're a company known for making the cleanest, the safest, and most effective infrared saunas in the world. And I'm happy to, share my expertise here and give some insights. I love talking about saunas because it is like sauna therapy is one of the most powerful healing
It's
tools I've come across in my career.
yes, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
definitely one of the most powerful, most effective.
Mhm.
How did you end up deciding to go into chiropractics before you entered that world? Is
Oh,
it something that
so
was
yeah, always been in like interested in healthcare. I grew up, my sister would work at nursing homes, and so I worked, going through high school and college as a CNA, and just loved, helping people, and was always
Sure,
interested in that. And my goal was to become a medical doctor. So
sure.
that was until a couple of months before I graduated from college. With my bachelor's, I was on track to go to medical school. And then I had kind of a come to Jesus moment. I
Oh,
was
really?
watching, it's really funny, I was watching a reality show called, I believe it was called Resident Life, and it just walked through, residents in medical school, and I just had this feeling like, "Ooh, that's not for me. I wanna do more of the, you know, hands-on care, more of the natural stuff, spend more time with people." But yeah, so I took that summer to really dive into looking at what I wanted to do next. So I did some internships, physical therapy, dentistry. I'm like, that's not for me. And then, I came across chiropractic, and my sister had a history with some back problems. She ended up having to have surgery on that and just has had a really rough go. And so I was like, a natural way to help people align their spines, help with their nervous system. It just really spoke to me. I
Mm,
visited chiropractic school. I had never gone to see a chiropractor before
oh,
going to school there, and I'm like, "This is a perfect fit." The
oh, wow.
physiology or the philosophy, natural healing, tapping into that innate power, healing power of the body, removing interference. Oh, it just, yeah, it lit me up. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's my
That's
direction.
my calling.
That's my
There's my
calling.
calling. I heard it. That's it.
Yep, and I'm like, "Thank goodness." So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
then
That's so
dove into that.
funny.
Mhm.
When I was in PA school, the Scrubs came out. And it was such a parody of the whole resident life, but it made fun of
Oh,
it, and it was I just remember just going, "Yeah, that's us right there."
that's right.
We're just the nobodies on the totem pole, and we're being hazed by all these doctors,
Oh
and,
my
like,
gosh, yeah.
medicine is definitely its own world. That's fun.
Interesting for
But
sure.
yeah, mine was a little bit of an odd trajectory of PA school, anesthesia school, and natural PhD in natural medicine. It's kind of stumbled my way into that
Oh,
holistic space. I thought medicine was the only way you could do it. But boy,
right?
man, did I miss out. Medicine has its definitely has its place. I mean, I find,
Mhm.
being in anesthesia, working in a trauma center where we save people's lives every day, like when they get in car accidents or they're about to die because of some kind of major injury, like thank God for medicine, right? I mean, thank
Oh,
God for
right.
trained medical professionals,
Mhm.
from the ER nurses to the doctors to everybody.
Yeah,
But it is not great at reversing chronic health conditions. That's not what it was really designed for. Even on the onset, it was designed to reverse at the time people were dying of, strep throat. I mean,
sure.
things like
Yeah.
that. So
Mhm.
medicine was designed to kind of save lives. And we do the same thing just in a different way when it comes to using natural approaches instead of slow death. Where medicine we do a good job of saving people from a quick death.
Right. Yep.
We really keep people from dying a slow death. We increase the quality of life when we work into these natural therapies and things like that. We reverse chronic health conditions, or we do efforts that help the body to reverse chronic health conditions. Let's
Yeah,
be really
for sure.
specific on our wording.
And it's so important not just to increase lifespan, you want to increase your health span. Like how much
Amen.
of your life you're spending being healthy and thriving
Oh,
and
so
having that
true.
quality. I don't want to just extend my years and just be miserable and sick and,
Exactly.
so it's an important
It's
conversation.
funny, when I got married to my husband, his mother was like, "I'm getting old, I'm getting old." And I think she was 60. I mean, I think she's 61 or 2. She's like, "I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die soon." I'm like, "You're 62."
Yeah, you're
And
like
she said
60
that
to be
every
40.
year till she was 82 and died, you know?
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, for 20 years, she was dying before she died,
Yeah.
and just because she just accepted that when you get
Mhm.
old, this is just how it is, you just hurt and you have to take more medications and life is just not great, and this is how it is. This is how we expect to live, and her husband was exactly the same. He was just like, "Well, I'm just old, I just can't move, and because I'm old, I shouldn't exercise." Like, what's going on?
The
These people are
opposite.
very different than my mindset.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's a classic example of that health span. Like, I think maybe even that generation was like thought that aging was really a thing. Like, you just really have to embrace that you're going to get old, and old means debilitated. That's just how it is, you know?
Yep.
And I think that's really the big difference that I'm seeing in the longevity space here. It's not, I mean, I think that, of course, there's the extremes where people are like, I want to live forever and be beautiful, beautiful and live till 120.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
different type of longevity than the longevity that I seek to promote, which is, live fully to the fullest capacity till the moment you go home, you
Mhm.
know?
Yep.
Not dependent on nursing homes and assisted care and hospital visits every 5 days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, sauna. Sauna is a great tool to that end. So much, I
Mm,
mean, like, if you're in longevity, sauna is part of what you're doing.
for
So
sure.
talk to me about the history, kind of like the history of sauna. Do you have much to say about the history of sauna and kind of just a little bit of the background of sauna?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time when we talk about saunas, people are, they're familiar with traditional saunas. So
Right.
that like steam saunas or, really hot air. You have the rocks, you pour water over them. So that's been around. I mean, the Finnish style saunas been around thousands of years, really integrated into a lot of cultures and lifestyles. And so there's, you know, long-term benefits and studies that show or long-term studies that show those benefits. So infrared saunas are
From the
yeah, from the
Finnish sauna?
Finnish style
Mhm.
traditional saunas, yep.
Mhm,
Infrared
mhm.
saunas are, newer, but it's, still I mean, it's been
The
decades of
benefits correlate.
benefits correlate. It really all comes down to raising the core body temperature. When you raise your core body temperature, it jumpstarts a ton of healing processes, and then you get those wonderful benefits. So now there's more research and seeing like, how much your core body temperature needs to be raised to activate these physiological responses. And, um, there's a whole temperature debate and there's just, there's kind of a no pain, no gain, mindset in some of the sauna space. With infrared saunas, it's interrupting that, you're able to have, um, a much more comfortable sauna
Oh,
experience.
yeah.
People are
Oh,
able to
yeah.
use
Mhm.
it more consistently. Yeah,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
getting those wonderful benefits still because it's raising the core body temperature. So, it's really just taking that wonderful energy that we get from the sun, and we're able to access that in our saunas um, and heal the body.
Mhm. So what's the big difference then between the Finnish sauna and the infrared sauna?
Yeah, really, it's just the different method of heat delivery. So, traditional saunas, they rely on convection, right? It's heating up the air temperature, getting that really hot, and then that indirectly heating the body. So it relies on really high temperatures, usually 100. 80, 90, 200 and above in some cases. Really
It's
hot,
very hot.
really uncomfortable. I mean, I love saunas, but, like, breathing in that air, it's hot and it's very taxing, like, a lot of people can't handle that. Um, Very taxing on the system, you can feel more fatigued afterwards, and, um, yeah, it's just extreme heat conditions. It's not very convenient to have in your home, high electricity bills, high EMF, which we'll get to that. But, yeah, so convection heat versus with an infrared sauna, you're using radiant heat. So, um, far infrared, which is what all infrared saunas, or most infrared saunas, all the infrared sauna research is all done on far infrared. That's the longest wavelength of light, longest band of light we get from the sun. When you go outside on a cold day and you feel the warmth on your skin, that's the infrared. That's the far infrared. So it has a direct heating ability, heats your body directly instead of relying on the air temperature, and it interacts with the water molecules of your body and is able to raise your body temperature and get all of those benefits like the deep detox and cardiovascular benefits, all the things, at much lower temperatures. So you're
Mm,
looking at
yeah.
120 to 140 versus 180, 200.
I bought my current sauna, um, from you guys, in 2020 because my son was sick with Lyme. This was one of the biggest purchases I
Oh,
made to try to get his detox pathways just kinda just
yep.
detox him. He was so everything I tried to do interacted with the heavy toxic burden that he had, which was very,
Mhm.
very high, especially considering he was only, like, 9. Like,
Oh,
how did he have
yeah.
so much toxic burden? It was really high. And so his nervous system just couldn't handle much of anything. Sauna was the most gentle thing he could do,
Mhm.
and it was very, very helpful. But this book was really interesting. It reviewed research, and this is why I wish I had it in my forefront. There was a physician in the 1970s. He was an occupational medicine doctor who was working with, I guess, obviously workers who were in a toxic environment, and he
Yep.
was using sauna to detox them, and he was using a specific type of protocol using, certain B vitamins and also minerals targeted after sauna to improve the replenish the loss during sauna. But he was using
Mhm.
Finnish sauna. And then fast forward, the book covers like all the research of, that he showed that improved cardiovascular health and all that jazz, and how it really reduced toxic burden. Like he had measurable, put out a study and everything. And then after 9/11, there was a large percentage of the first responders who were very, very sick. In fact, a lot of them, something staggering like 70% went out on disability for severe chronic health conditions following their efforts in 9/11. And they introduced the infrared sauna to they placed actually a sauna clinic in downtown Manhattan to serve those guys. And like a lot of them went through the sauna protocols that were first started by this doctor, except now using infrared sauna. And they more than half, something like 70% of those people that were disabled went back to work because they were healthy. And the thing that was interesting in that book that I read was that they said, the infrared sauna, it vibrates the water molecules, and so it pushes out the toxins. And so then, your temperature doesn't have to be so high. Like, I don't ever really run my sauna more than 120 to 135, maybe if I'm really feeling like I need to push it. But
Yeah.
I can get a lot of sweat at 120,
It's
especially if you exercise
incredible.
right before.
Oh,
know?
yeah. Yep, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely there are ways to improve, yeah, the sweating, and the more that you use it as you become more heat acclimated, there's those, physiological adaptations that happen in the body. You'll start to sweat at lower temperatures and more effectively as your body becomes better at cooling itself off, and, yeah, so it's amazing because, like, radiant heat accounts for a lot more of the temperature like,
Mhm.
increase or difference there. So, I'd say, using an infrared sauna at 130 is pretty comparable to a traditional at 180 or 190. So,
Well, and that's the other thing. The studies that they were showing in that book were like, at the 180, here's the thing with the Finnish sauna to achieve the same level of detoxification in
mhm.
the Finnish sauna, you have to do 180 to 190 for an hour. Like, it
Uh,
was like a long
long
time. It
time, yeah.
wasn't short, it was long. And so you can achieve that same with the infrared, but like 120 for, I mean, sometimes I do 30 minutes, but
30 minutes.
usually it's
Mhm.
somewhere between 20 and 30.
Yep, yeah.
20
It's
minutes is nothing. An hour is a lot.
Yeah,
You
oh,
know?
for sure. I don't know if I could sit in there
Uh,
for that long, but, yeah, I'm
exactly.
dripping sweat and, 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes in there, that's, like, the sweet spot for me, and, yeah, I believe, it may be the same study that we're thinking of where they measured the actual concentration of the toxins in the sweat from traditional.
Mhm. Yes.
um, they also measured it for, yeah, traditional versus infrared, but also, like, just regular exercise, and they found, that the majority of the sweat and traditional and exercise is water. So you're
Oh,
just,
well.
becoming more dehydrated,
Great.
losing that water weight. Yeah. And there's only about a 3% concentration of those toxins. And with infrared, because it has that unique ability to mobilize the toxins out of the fat cells using resonant absorption, it's, yeah, vibrating, those releasing them from the tissues where your body stores them, and so you're
Mhm.
able to release those hard to release toxins, the fat soluble ones,
Oh,
heavy
yeah.
metals, arsenic, lead, and,
Mhm.
phthalates and plastics and all the things that
All
we're
those
exposed
things.
to in modern life now. But they found like significantly higher concentrations from
Yep.
sweat and
Yep,
infrared
that was the
saunas.
study.
Yeah. Yep.
I wanna talk about the health benefits of sauna because
Yeah.
there are so
So
many
many,
studies. Like,
so many.
I was just doing a little bit of research for this, because I'm going to include some of this information in the book I'm writing, and I wanted the updated studies on it. And I mean, I just searched studies on brain health and sauna, and I was like, "Well, that's a lot of studies," you know? Yeah. So talk to me about some of the health benefits with
So,
infrared sauna.
yeah, I mean, brain health is huge. But most people, when they think about saunas, you're thinking about detox. So it's just amazing for detox, releasing those chemicals that we're getting exposed to. And our body's natural detox systems, right? The liver, the kidneys, the skin, they get overwhelmed a lot. So it needs
Uh-huh.
needs help, needs support. So sweating is one of our primary detox pathways, and you're able to carry out a lot of um, yeah, deep toxins and persistent organic pollutants, all the things. So detox
PFOAs, that would be the forever chemicals people,
forever
the ones
chemicals.
that they said there's nothing to do detox them. Sauna
You
does.
can. Yes,
You
for
can,
sure,
yeah,
and you need to. That's why, I mean, it's so
yeah,
important for us to be getting hot on purpose every day, like sweating every day. You have to. Yeah, it's
mm,
just, like, so important.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and then I'd say, like, the most robust studies on sauna therapy are having to do with cardiovascular health.
oh, yeah,
So,
oh, yeah,
yeah, it just it mimics the effects of moderate exercise. So you're going to improve the heart function, you're improving circulation, helps with lowering blood pressure, um, you're enhancing blood vessel function, pushing blood around. It's just helping everything work better. And yeah, there are longitudinal studies that prove that it reduces the risk of heart attack and
I
stroke.
think it was a really statistically significant even that book, which I think was written quite a while ago, I wanna say it was published, like, I don't know, 2014 or something like not
Yeah,
90s or anything like that, but
right. Yeah,
but certainly not 2025, right?
sure.
That even that book had studies from Mayo that said I think that's what sold me. I was like, "Whoa," like Mayo
Mhm.
published a study, I don't wanna misquote, but I'm pretty sure it was Mayo, and it was like something like 68% reduction in, like, cardiovascular disease
Yeah,
and improvement in congestive heart failure. Improvement in congestive heart failure. I mean, like, this is, like, the
amazing.
stuff that we in medicine, we're, like, putting people on 3 different drugs for, like,
Yeah, yep.
so big, robust studies on the heart for sure.
Yeah.
And with brain health, like, what are some of the benefits? What do we see there?
The yeah, the brain loves the sauna.
Yeah,
Really, it has to do with, like, of course, improving circulation, so you're gonna get more
sure.
oxygen and
Huge.
nutrients to the brain. The
Mhm,
toxin removal, where it's, getting rid of that toxic load to protect the brain. Um, a lot of mood regulation, so it's helping to
mhm,
boost serotonin, the feel-good hormones, endorphins, and it's lowering cortisol, so it's gonna help with stress, anxiety, with your sleep. Um, it's activating, like, the parasympathetic nervous system. We spend so much of our life in sympathetic, fight or flight, and it's just helping to lower those stress hormones and, improve your overall resilience to stress. And then a big
mhm.
thing is just how saunas, that heat stress, it activates these, or it creates, like, the release of, these special repair proteins, heat shock
Mm,
protein. So, yeah, and those help to protect the neurons of the brain. They can play a role in preventing neurodegeneration. They're, um it increases sauna use increases brain-derived neurotropic factor.
There you go, bam. I
Yep.
was like,
Huge.
say it."
Yeah.
I love
BDNF.
I love talking about BDNF because there's a lot of
Yeah.
supplements, and, of course, the best thing you can do to boost BDNF is exercise. I think the second best is
Yeah.
probably sauna
Yeah, I
because
mean,
it
that's huge,
mimics
it's
exercise.
mimicking it, yeah, so a lot
Yeah.
of
Mhm.
people, who especially, like, yeah, older people or people who have, like, exercise, like, it's hard for them to exercise, or
Yeah.
they have injuries, or they deal with a lot of chronic
Mhm.
pain. I mean, it's that passive exercise, if that passive heat is mimicking cardiovascular exercise. And then when you pair sauna with exercise, it's just, you just have all these additive benefits. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's just really
I
fun.
saw a reel recently where somebody was talking about sauna, and they're like, "Sauna is my GLP-1."
Yes.
Because they're
Oh,
like, because
oh, yeah.
you do lose weight when you get in the sauna, and so
You can
that's a
burn up
huge benefit.
to yeah, you can burn up to 600 calories in just one session. So it's
Whoa.
really helpful for managing weight, and because it's reducing the cortisol, right? You're helping and you're releasing those toxins that are stored that where we can put on a lot of weight there. It's, yeah, it's helping to flush the system, helping everything function properly. It helps with, like, insulin sensitivity, so you have better
Mhm.
metabolic health. I mean, it's just, like,
It's a
one
it
thing
seems like
that
a
helps with
no-brainer.
every system of
Yeah.
the body. But yeah, when it comes to the brain, I mean, we've seen, like, those long-term benefits you see with the more consistent use of sauna therapy, you're gonna have more benefits, and so there are long-term studies that show with regular sauna use at least 4 times a week, as much of a 65% reduced risk of Alzheimer's and a
Wow. Wow.
6% lower risk of dementia.
Six 65% reduced risk of Alzheimer's and 66% reduced risk of dementia. That
Dementia.
is
It's
huge.
incredible, like, just
Yeah.
that alone is like, everyone needs this.
Why is
Um
nobody sitting in their hot box every day?
Right.
Like,
That's what we're here for.
I mean, really.
To stress
Um,
to people,
it's
yeah.
uh, I think there's a important thing to, note that when you sweat such, toxin rich, I would also say electrolyte rich,
Yeah.
more electrolyte rich when you do infrared sauna than in this traditional sauna. Like you said, you lose more water weight in
Mhm.
the traditional Finnish sauna. What kind of guidelines do you recommend that people do to protect themselves from electrolyte depletion with
Yeah.
the sauna?
Good question, yeah. I mean, just yeah, increasing your electrolyte, intake. Um, we have protocols that, we send to people to help,
Mm,
guide them, because you don't just wanna you definitely wanna increase your water, but not just
yeah.
that. You wanna replenish as well. Um, but yeah, because you're not sweating out so much of that, your body does hold on to it more. Um, you're not gonna get as dehydrated, but definitely you want to be focused on drinking water beforehand,
Oh, yeah.
during the sauna, after the sauna.
So when you do far infrared sauna, you sweat about 10 milligrams per minute of sodium out of your body.
Mm,
10 milligrams per minute.
that's
So longer,
a
obviously.
lot. Yep.
Potassium, it was 7 milligrams per minute lost in sweat. And then magnesium is up to 67 milligrams per minute. So those
Okay.
three are kind of the big ones, sodium, potassium, and
Mhm.
magnesium, that I think are important to just highlight that you pay attention to,
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
replenish, appropriately if you're doing sauna. That will help you avoid unwanted effects of electrolyte imbalances, which is not what we want.
Yep.
We want to
Yeah.
detox safely.
That's right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
people will be more consistent with it when they're not going through those, like the healing crisis that you get from like cleanses and
Oh,
such
yeah.
detoxing. So, yeah, anything that's going to help just restore the body, help you
Mhm,
gently detox, you'll feel better, you'll respond better to it, and
mhm.
you'll be more consistent. So you'll have, get more benefits over time.
Absolutely. So how do you find sauna being supportive? I mean, obviously I used it for my son and he was 9,
Mhm.
so we can talk about 2 things, kids and saunas, because I get that question a lot, and
Uh,
Lyme, chronic fatigue, Lyme, mold
oh,
illness. This is kind of the classic. I would say these are the people that are more apt to reach for a sauna, because they're so desperate for anything to help.
that
So
is
talk
so
to me
true.
about how sauna helps that, and then let's talk about a little bit, about the safety guidelines around kids using sauna.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's an important area, especially with so many people dealing with that, chronic fatigue and Lyme and mold
Mhm,
overexposure and overgrowth in the body. Um, Usually there's a common denominator there. They're dealing with that high toxic burden, and then they
mhm,
also have compromised detox pathways. So I'd say like for Lyme and chronic fatigue, the saunas are going to help with mitochondrial function. It's going to help with circulation, more oxygen delivery, and then just reducing those, the inflammation, chronic inflammation
yeah,
overall. So
huge for inflammation. You'd think it's the
huge.
opposite, you're heating everything up, like, aren't we gonna make more inflammation? It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's that slight
Yeah,
stress of it that then activates those, all the repair in the body. And so, yeah, huge. I mean, and inflammation's like at the root cause of almost every
all of those. Mhm.
disease and condition and, degeneration. And it just, yeah, it's helping to remove that huge toxic
Huge.
load, reducing it and all the inflammatory like cytokines.
The inflammation's huge in Lyme disease, like, I
Yeah,
think you can't figure out which one's worse, toxins or inflammation. Like, which
that
one
goes
is
hand in
causing
hand.
more of the
Yep,
debilitation when you're really struggling with Lyme disease. And then, of course,
definitely.
usually they're and have the overlap of the mold and illness in there.
Right, right,
My
that usually
son
goes hand in hand. Mhm.
mhm. My son had, the classic kind of a multi-chemical sensitivities, that came from that mold and Lyme kind of picture,
Yeah,
and when I called to order my sauna, I explained that, and they helped me guide and, like, which type of wood we would use for the sauna. Talk
yeah,
to us about that. Like, there seem to be, like, 2 different wood, like, materials that were used in the saunas, and
yeah, yeah, so, our company, we've made a name for us in, the environmental medicine field, like, we've just been very intentional, we've been very focused in that, and that's really shaped, the decisions, the choices, the quality, the woods that we use, because we do work with a lot of, like, people that are the sickest of the sick, and are sensitive to being exposed to
yep.
anything that has the VOCs and any of the smells, anything that could potentially trigger a reaction and, you know, kind of get in the way of their healing. So with our saunas, we use the lowest VOC woods available. Poplar is the one that I would assume you went with. That's the most
Yep.
doctor recommended. It's just naturally the lowest VOC. We're very
What's a
intentional with
VOC?
VOC of volatile organic compounds. It's
There you
just
go.
what's naturally occurring. Yeah, it's naturally occurring in woods that can, cause that strong wood smell and that people can be sensitive to. It can be irritating to the lungs. It could just cause a lot of issues there. So you want a low VOC wood and poplar. Yeah, poplar's the lowest. You're not going to have like any wood smell. So even the most sensitive users
I
can.
like the wood smell. I was sad that
I
I
like
couldn't
a
get the
little
wood
bit of
smell.
wood smell too.
I
Yeah,
like wood smells.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But,
Yeah, and so we do have that option now for in hemlock, which is going to be, it gives another option for another color. It's going to be more of a golden brown. Um, the poplar is, a light cream color. And so, yeah, hemlock is golden brown. It has more of the wood grain in there, and it does have a mild wood smell. So for people who do like that, but for the extra, extra sensitive, I would say if you have any doubts or any questions
question.
about that, go with the poplar. Otherwise, yeah, hemlock is usually good for the majority of people. But if you have environmental toxin overload, if you have that mold illness, you may be, yeah, extra
Yeah.
sensitive to those smells and when it's heating up and everything, and just want to make sure that your,
Yeah.
yeah, the sauna that you
Yeah.
have is not adding to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's interesting because, yeah, I did find you guys via kind of environmental
Yeah.
medicine experts. Like the doctor that my son initially saw was an environmental specialist, NDEMD.
Okay.
I'm really concerned about like what in the environment is triggering some of your illness. So he was a real
Mhm.
expert in that area, and I can see that that must probably where we got connected there. That
Yeah.
and I did try look at other sauna. I did do other research into other saunas, but I really came away more impressed with your sauna. So we could talk a little bit more about that. But I want to
Yeah.
still talk about kids. Let's talk about the
Oh,
safety
yes, with the
around
safety.
kids. And I also get questions about dogs. So let's ask about dogs in the
Okay.
saunas.
For
I know
sure.
that's a weird one, but people are like, "Can I put my dog in
No,
the sauna?" I'm like,
it's true. Yeah.
No."
I
Like,
get we
I
get that
tell
a
them
lot
no.
too. Yeah.
Hey guys, I wanted to pop in, interrupt our podcast to encourage you guys and let you guys know if you didn't know, our book is available. Stephen's story about his struggle through Lyme disease. Our book, Kids Get Lyme Disease Too. One Boy's Journey of Trusting God Through Lyme Disease. It is available on all areas that you can get books. Everything from Amazon to Barnes & Noble to everywhere in between. All the places that you pick up books, you can pick up our book. So please support us and get the word out. If you have a child that's struggling, it doesn't have to be Lyme. I know so many children who just feel weird because their health doesn't match that of their peers, and they feel isolated. They feel unseen, frustrated, and alone. This book is meant to encourage those children. It's meant to encourage you parents that you can get through it. It's meant to make you feel seen and heard and give you hope. So please pick up our book. Thank you for so much for supporting our podcast and all the things that we do. You can see it's an ever emerging thing. I'm changing my studio. Today I'm wearing scrubs because this is the only time I've had to record, and I'm doing the best we can. And I appreciate that you guys are here with me at the root level, at the ground floor, as I'm trying to get information out to you guys that is valuable and hopefully life-changing, starting with the books. So pick up the book wherever you can pick up books, and thank you in advance for all your support.
So we'll start with the kids, and we do have something about our company that really sets us apart is that everyone on staff has strong science and medical backgrounds. So we're
Mhm.
not just like the salesy people that's just trying to push a
Mhm.
sale. We care about your health. We're going to walk you through what's the best decision for you. We're going to educate you and help you get, the best equipped with how, the protocol, how to move forward, how to use the sauna. And listening, to your feedback and helping to guide you there. But we do give protocols of use for adults and children. And with children, you're just starting off very
Lower.
low and slow. Yeah, we say go low, go
Mhm.
slow. And yeah, so lower temperatures, lower amount of time, see how the body
Mhm.
responds. Um, kids usually won't sit there for very long anyway.
My daughter will
The
get, "Can I come and sit with you for a minute?" And she's in
Yeah,
there for 5 minutes, and then
5
she's like,
minutes.
"Okay, I'm done."
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
It's that, at least she's getting some exposure to that.
Mhm. She's
It's
like,
good. Mhm. Yeah.
"Hot."
I know. My son's the same way, for sure.
Yeah.
What's great about infrared is that, or in our sauna specifically, because we have a unique heater design and we have a really high output of infrared, that, it gets to the maximum amount of infrared within, like, 2 to
Oh,
4
it's fast.
minutes.
Yeah, it's
And
really fast.
so yeah, so even though it can still be cold in there and maybe not very comfortable to be, like, have less clothing on and everything, but you have that exposure to far infrared, that healing wavelength of light,
Mhm.
and that's great to be exposed to, and it creates a lot of benefits just even in
Mm,
that short term. You're not gonna get a good sweat, built up in 5 minutes
mhm.
necessarily, but still you're getting that good exposure, so,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny because I will often go down there in my with my clothes on in the sauna,
Yeah.
and I'll turn it on, and I'll wait till it gets a little warm, then I'll start taking my clothes off.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
"It's a little cold in here in my basement. I'm not sure I want to."
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's actually a good point is to review going over how to best use the sauna,
Oh,
because
yeah, let's
I
do that.
still find a lot of people who have purchased our saunas in the past are using it the same way that they would use, like, a traditional sauna, and it's very different. So you don't have to preheat it to the max temperature and then get in, because it's not
Mhm.
dependent upon that air temperature, as the secondary way that it's heating the body. So, really you wanna heat it up. It usually takes about 10 or 15 minutes in our saunas to get to about 100 degrees. So somewhere between 100 to 115, 120 is usually when we tell people to get in. Of course, you start lower, start slower when you're just getting started.
I'm not
Um,
doing it wrong. I go in, I turn it on.
Oh, so you're
I'm,
going
like,
in right
sitting in
away,
there.
which that's okay too, but
Yeah.
you'll get a much better, sweat built up and, like, if you let it preheat just for a little bit of time, and then you get in and you heat up with the sauna. So there's a lot
Mhm.
of science and benefits to raising the core body temperature as you are being exposed to the infrared rays the entirety of the session. 'Cause if you were to once it gets to the max temperature that you set it to, the heaters cycle on and off to maintain
Mhm.
that
That's
temperature.
right. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
you're losing out on the infrared rays that actually convert to heat in the body. So, yeah, try it, get in at like 100 degrees, warm up,
Gonna do
right? All the yeah, all the
Mhm.
published studies, like, on the benefits of sauna therapy with infrared are between 120 to 140. So, it's not necessary to go higher than that, but, some people like to. We do have that option in our saunas.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, like, usually at around 130, 135, you're, sweating
Yeah.
good in there, and that's
Yeah.
that's enough, and then, of course, we have our unique feature of the fresh air fan, which helps to filter out
Cer
the, carbon dioxide that's built up so you don't get that stuffy,
Oh, that's a really
um
good point.
yeah, and it's
Especially when you have a two-person sauna. Boy, that heats it up even more. You're like
yes.
my husband gets in with me, and I'm like, "Well, it felt like 110,
Yeah.
but now it feels like 140."
Yeah, you're
You
adding
know?
more of that body heat, it's interacting, yeah, more infrared,
Mhm.
yeah, it's gonna heat up more, so with that fan and that's a unique feature to us,
Mhm.
it's really nice, but a lot of people can feel claustrophobic and just feel more run down after using the
Mhm.
sauna, and so this helps to eliminate that because it has that oxygen flow,
Yeah.
and, it's nice. I like to cycle it on and off through my sessions, some people leave it on through the whole time,
Mm.
you can just kind of see how your body responds to it, but I would
Mhm.
say having it on, don't have it on when when you're warming up your sauna. Turn it on once you get in, and especially when you're just getting started. Like, we have a beginner protocol that's very conservative for people that have a high toxic load and need to detox slowly. For kids, we would do the same thing. Just walk them
Mhm.
through that. You would you know, increase the time that you're in there before you
Mm.
increase the higher temperature, and just kind of it walks you through how to best do that. And of course, if you're a seasoned sauna user, or if you're exercising regularly, you are sweating often, you may be able to go up to like a typical session, which is 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, at around 100 and 130, 135, 140, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
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 And when it comes
Yeah,
to
and
animals,
I will put that information that you have for the beginner kind of in the links in the show notes so everybody can get to
oh
them
yeah,
because
we
that's
can
super
share
helpful. That's a good resource for just at least beginning.
for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's talk about dogs. Can
Yes,
dogs get in?
animals. Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, so I will tell you, animals are very attracted to the heat. They
Yeah,
want
they
to
are.
be in there. I hear this all the time, and like even cats will be up on top. My dog wants to come in with me all the time.
That's so
Um,
funny.
yeah, so I don't know if there's any like published research on this. I do know dogs, they don't have the sweat glands like we do. That's why they pant, right?
Right.
They don't
Exactly.
have as effective as a cooling mechanism like we do.
Right.
So they're very sensitive to that increase in temperature, and it can be very dangerous for them. So
Yeah.
whenever my dog, and of course it's like her world, we're just living in it.
Yeah.
Um, I'll let her
Exactly.
in, and she'll be on the ground, and I always leave the door cracked the whole time. And if she's just in there for 10 minutes or less, not when it's like in those really high temperatures. Um, and I'll open the door and she's like, okay, I'm already done. But you
Yeah.
definitely don't want them in there the whole entirety of the session. I think it can benefit them a little bit, but
Yeah.
there's just not any research that I'm aware of, or
Yeah.
any research that's out there that
Yeah.
can prove when that goes from,
What's this? Where
beneficial
it
to
goes from
harmful.
good to bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, where's that
Yeah.
line? So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
better to stay, err on the side of
It's
safety.
like caution. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dog will sit outside the sauna and tap, tap.
Wine.
"Mom, mom, what are you doing? Are
Send
you
me.
okay? Can I come in? What's going on?" Like, it's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
He's so curious, such a noodle.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about some of the, like, this is important because, anesthesia recovery, surgical recovery, a lot of times there's a lot of misinformation, maybe a lot of ignorance. We don't know, like, can I tell my patient that they can get in a sauna? Because we think that it's gonna cause more inflammation or something like that, and obviously, we've said that the sauna, infrared sauna, far infrared sauna will obviously reduce inflammation, which is kind of
Mhm.
counterintuitive. So talk to me about, like, some of the immune benefits and like benefits you might gain from using sauna post-operatively.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. So I think like with like the anesthesia, is is it the majority? Is it like lipophilic, the fat
A
soluble,
large
a
yeah,
large
a
percentage?
huge percentage of our anesthetics are very lipophilic. They love to hang out in the fat cells, and then they
Right.
don't like to move out of the fat cells, and they
Yeah.
kinda stick around for even decades. Like, I mean, at not causing any interaction to your brain and making you anesthetized, but they just kinda hang out like
Linger.
PFOAs,
Right.
like,
Yeah,
just
they just linger in there, and then it just
mhm,
builds and accumulates, and then you get chronic, diseases, or you get cancer or
mhm.
something,
It just
to
contributes to overall
contribute to
toxic.
that,
Mhm,
for sure. Yeah, so I think, I mean, I'd say yes, use an infrared sauna, because you're helping to mobilize those toxins out of the fat cells and giving it, helping with your detox pathway. So it's just going to make
mhm,
everything work more effectively. Um, when it comes to the immune system, it's huge. It's raising the core body temperature like an artificial fever. So all of those, your immune defenses are being activated. You're able to fight off infections better. You're increasing your body's natural antioxidants. Um, lowering the risk for respiratory infections and
Oh,
pneumonia.
yeah, that's huge. Post-op
Huge.
pneumonia is a complication that can cause big problems. So you cannot go into a sauna at 120 degrees and not end up kind of breathing deep because you're like, it's hot in here.
Man, yeah.
Well, I gotta breathe.
Health
It
and
just
that,
naturally
yep.
happens. Yeah,
So you're helping to
and
expel a lot of the toxins that get built up, in the lungs too, and you're just helping condition the lungs to work more effectively, and of course the heart along with it. So yeah, people just and I mean, pneumonia was huge during COVID as well, and like long COVID conditions and stuff. So it can really, really help improve lung capacity and function by using the sauna. Just people overall will report having fewer colds and getting sick less, and then if they do get sick, being able to recover faster.
is there any research on like how sauna and the heat shock proteins and how they activate and improve the immune system, or is it just the sheer fact that as we lower our toxic burden, now our immune function, our Th1 and Th2 balance comes about recalibrates and rebalances, and we end up with just a healthier overall immune system because our toxic load is lower? Or do you know?
I mean, it's really, yeah, it's about the increase in the core temperature activating those healing processes. Yeah, the heat shock protein activation. I believe there are studies. I'd have to ask our medical doctor on staff. She's writing a book as well, and so she's diving deep into the studies. I could ask her and provide you with some, but I know they're out there. They're out there with
Yeah.
that, and then showing also, especially like when we were talking about Lyme or some of the other like some of like autoimmune conditions, right? Where you have an overactive immune system. So sauna, it's not just boosting it, and helping create more of your immune defenses. It has like an immunomodulating effect. So it's able
Mm,
to an overactive immune system in those cases of
that's amazing.
autoimmune. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. What about anti-aging? Talk
Yeah.
to us people who care about being beautiful.
We do. Oh,
These wrinkles, they have to go away.
they have to go. Yeah. Um,
Without Botox, they have to go.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. God forbid we try to age gracefully. Um,
No, 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 no. Stop talking such nonsense.
right? Yeah, huge I mean, skin is the largest detox organ. So you're helping to purify your skin. It helps to increase collagen production. It's
Increased collagen production. Bam!
Yay! That's what we want.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. And, it helps with just overall everything functioning properly. You're getting more hydrated, releasing the toxins. Yeah, helping with that natural glow. There's, the
So
mitochondrial benefits will help with anti-aging. Yeah,
there you
increasing
go.
your natural, um,
hmm
antioxidants. So that's, it's gonna help the skin, it's gonna help everything, age better over time.
So I have to go in here and go, all right, so because it's an anti-aging. I mean, obviously, I think that if you improve heat shock proteins and if you improve your immune system's balance and you detox, like you're not going to have as much oxidation and that
Right.
slows the rate of breakdown. I think of metal outside. When it's outside and exposed, it's oxidizing it and it'll rust and stuff. The less we expose it, the less rust, right?
Right.
Same thing happens in our bodies with oxidants. So antioxidant benefits, anything that boosts that is going to be anti-aging. But I want to distinguish because I know if it was confusing to me, it's got to be confusing to others as well. What's the difference between near infrared, like
Cool.
in the red light panels, and the far
Yeah.
infrared, like in the sauna? Because those are
Yeah,
two different things. And when I think anti-aging, I think first near infrared and then sauna. So,
definitely. Yeah,
like
yeah,
physiological anti-aging benefits, like my skin.
definitely. Yeah, and this is a great distinction because, um red light therapy is a big trend now. It's very popular. I love red light therapy. So yeah,
Mhm.
when it
Me too.
comes, I mean, it's part of um, the spectrum, the wavelength of the sun, right? So there's a broad band of light there. Um, and you have far infrared, which is with the sauna, and that's the longest wavelengths. Then you have mid infrared and near infrared. Near infrared are the shortest wavelengths. And that is usually what's paired with visible red light. So near infrared, mid, and far are not visible. They're just outside the visible spectrum of light. But when you add red light therapy along with near infrared, that's usually or red light along with near infrared is considered red light therapy. So there's a specific range of wavelengths. Usually it's between like 600 and 900 nanometers. And um, it's more of a superficial effect, right? It doesn't penetrate in deep. It's not causing the raising of your core temperature, but it has a lot of great, skin benefits. It does have some mitochondrial activation benefits. There's acute healing,
Sure.
like for acute inflammatory injuries. I recommend the wound healing, and there are.
Skin. Skin, I find my
Yeah.
near infrared really beneficial. The panel really beneficial if I have any kind of flare at all in my
Yes,
skin from any kind of rash or anything it's like almost gone the next day. Like
it's
poof.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
put my near infrared mask on when I was messing with the spot and got a little pimple.
Yeah.
And my daughter, she's laughing at me because I'm putting my mask on. And that the next morning she said, "Your pimples are gone." I'm like,
Like,
I
yeah.
know.
Like, weird,
It's
short time.
magic light.
Yeah, magic light, and it is, yeah, and so the effect that everyone is looking for, that they're going for red light therapy is called, photobiomodulation, so PBMT.
Photobiomodulation.
Yep. Yeah, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of published research,
Oh, yeah.
coming from, like, LEDs and,
Mhm.
lasers specifically.
Mhm.
So but it
Mhm.
is a targeted therapy. It does require that sweet spot, where too little will be ineffective and too much can be harmful. So the problem, like, it's all dependent upon, dosage, strength, length of exposure, and the distance, right? So there's way more parameters when it comes to that being beneficial. Um, the problem with adding that into a sauna, right?
Thank you. I was gonna ask that next.
You see a
You're
lot of,
reading my
like,
mind.
yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
You see a lot of, like, the, full spectrum saunas being sold, right? So that's adding all the
Yes.
different spectrums of light.
Yes.
It'll
I
have
I
red
usually
light.
tell people no. No.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just the thing is the past 40 years of research, on infrared saunas is all far infrared.
Mm,
That's the study, that's where you're getting that's the true
yeah.
workhorse of saunas. That's where you're
That's right.
getting all of the benefits.
Mhm.
Um, when you add all of the other things in, it's kind of an upsell. It's just like,
Mhm.
"Oh, let's just
Yeah, I
throw it
know
all in and hope that it's gonna be
I see
beneficial."
some of the big names like Dave Asprey and these guys like
Yeah,
saying, "Oh, well, I put my panel in my sauna or I buy the full spectrum," and then kind of promoting that type of stuff. And I'm always like, I don't understand the science. Like I'm
there's
trying
not.
to think through
Yeah,
the science.
and that's
My
the
panel is
problem.
outside in my bedroom, and my red light, my infrared is in the basement. My
Yeah.
far infrared sauna. So they are not combined because I don't always need the near infrared, like,
Yeah, yeah, and there can be harmful effects, and again, we don't know where it goes from being beneficial to harmful. And, too much exposure can cause, some negative effects with, uh, more like skin aging, um,
Mhm. Mhm.
cataracts, it just
Yeah.
can increase some
Yes, you
cancers.
better be wearing some
There's
eye protection.
Yeah, there's
Mhm.
some things that you wanna kinda stay away from, but I think when it comes to saunas, it's just more they don't right now have the, equipment to be able to produce the wavelengths that are going to create those benefits. So I think more than anything, it may just be a waste of money.
Mm.
And
Well, that's the most expensive thing ever. If you're
yeah,
buying something that doesn't help, in fact
it's
might
not
hurt,
helping.
that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
worst spending of money ever,
Right. And then
you
there's
know?
also research that shows that when you're sweating and you have sweat on that outer layer of skin, and because near infrared and red light therapy is so superficial, it can dilute the benefits that you're getting there, and you may not even be
Ugh,
getting any of the benefits. So I tell people, like, I mean, red light panels are amazing. Red light
yes,
therapy devices that are, proven and backed by research, amazing.
100%.
I say use that separate from your sauna. It's a completely
Yep.
different therapy. Even though there's overlap when it comes to far infrared, it'll help with a lot of those skin benefits and circulation and collagen and everything. But if you want more of that targeted benefit, use it outside of your sauna
Mm,
or 10 to 15 minutes. Don't
yep.
go for as long as, like, when you're adding it in the sauna and you're using the sauna 30, sometimes people use it up to 40 minutes, consistently every day. That's where you could see some negative effects.
So negative,
So
yeah.
mhm.
And the other concern I'd have in some of them now, I can't speak to the saunas that are the full spectrums and have all that already built in, but because I don't know, I haven't looked at them, but I know I've been to plenty of conferences where people are like, yeah, just throw my panel in there and I do it together. And I'm like, what about the EMF? Like, how about cumulative EMF? And this is a good segue because
Yes.
one another big piece that sold me on high tech health was the transparency and the research on the low degree of EMF that your sauna puts out. Because everybody who has had Lyme or chronic illness will probably understand that EMF has a huge impact on their nervous system, like
Oh, yeah.
huge. And so all last thing you want to do is get in a sauna that has a ton of EMF counteracting like the benefits or just making you sicker while you're in the sauna. My son was absolutely one of those. Like you put him in front of a power plant and his legs would become jello, like he couldn't walk.
Oh,
So
oh,
it was like a huge important piece for me that the EMF would be measurably low.
yeah.
And I like I said, the infrared light the near infrared light panels built into a far infrared sauna, so some of the research I've come across shows a like a big uptick in EMF toxicity. So like I don't think that's a good thing.
Not at
So talk to
all.
me about EMF
Yeah.
and
I
your
mean,
sauna.
so important. It's one of the most important things that we educate on, and again, something that we're known for. And I love, though, that it's becoming so well known, that people are being educated on it, that there's resources
Yes.
out there, that they're starting to listen to their body and they have that intuition of like, hey, this is, it's not something I just need to power through. It's something I'm being sensitive to this. I'm feeling the effects of this and it's damaging my health. So, yeah, EMF. So EMFs, they are electromagnetic fields. They're invisible energy waves that we get from electronics, right? Anything that uses electricity, electronics, the
Mhm.
wiring, the Wi-Fi,
Oh yeah.
our cell phone, all the things,
Mhm.
they emit EMF,
Electromagnetic
electromagnetic fields. So it's electric
frequencies.
fields and magnetic fields.
Yeah.
Um,
Two
and
separate
there's
combines.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's including both of those, and there is a lot of growing evidence showing that high exposure to that is gonna contribute to oxidative stress, right? The internal
Yeah.
rusting of your engine, of your body, more inflammation, and it can lead to even neurological issues. So
So the big thing I see, try to explain, and this is way into the cell and maybe deep physiology that everybody wants to understand, but I want people to know the science so they can rethink everything.
sure.
But EMF basically targets these voltage gated channels in the cell, means that they are these channels, these like pathways to the cell are stimulated by changes in energy voltage. And those are channels that basically allow calcium to enter the cell, which is excitatory to the cell. So
Mhm.
there are voltage gated calcium ion channels.
Yep.
That's the official name of these guys. And so it basically sets them at an open, and the calcium just floods the cell, and then the cell just gets really hyper excitatory, and that causes oxidation and it causes dysfunction. And so if it's a nerve cell, it just makes it literally hyper fire. And so you get a lot of pain, neuropathy, and
Mm,
weakness when that happens.
yeah,
Sorry, my little side on EMFs and what they
I
actually do
love
in the
that.
cell.
Yes, and the brain and the heart have those highest concentrated of the highest concentration of the voltage gated ion
Ion channel.
channels. So
Yep.
they're going to be the most sensitive or affected by the EMF. And so when that opens and it floods the cells, it can cause disruption in the natural function of those cells. So you'll see
Mhm.
DNA breakage,
Yep.
genetic mutations that can lead to cancer,
Oh, yeah.
um, protein degradation, right? It's affecting the way the enzymes and receptors and cell structure
Right.
functions, which can lead to degenerative diseases.
Right.
You have lipid peroxidation, again, degenerative diseases. And then also it can affect what's increasing the oxidative stress, but then it's causing an abnormal release of the neurotransmitters and hormones. So you can see, um, neuropsychiatric symptoms occur. So it's
Mhm.
going to affect, sleep,
Huge.
depression, anxiety, fatigue,
Lack of
headaches.
sleep.
Yes, lack of sleep is so huge. Poor memory, difficulty concentrating, like it's just contributing to that so much. So in a sauna, you're sitting so close to the heaters. It has that output. Um, you're being affected by EMF all around you. I mean, it's everyday life you're being affected by that as well. But when
Right.
you're in a sauna and you're meant to be your sanctuary, it's supposed to be that restorative space, and then you're just flooding your body with the exposure of the EMF, it really affects the benefits that you're receiving,
That you're
because it
gaining.
can add just more
So
stress to the
true.
system. So, here at
Yeah.
High Tech Health, yeah, we've gone to great lengths to engineer saunas that have the lowest EMF in the industry. So they are third party tested, verified. The reports are from the actual surface of the heaters. So some tricky marketing that happens in our industry. It's not
Yes, there
recommended
is.
that way. So
Yes, there
just so
is.
your audience will know, it's so important to weed through that noise and not to just trust all
Yes.
the claims that they'll throw out. So we see this,
Yes.
yeah, like companies will claim low EMF, but there's no scientific backing, or some of the companies that do mitigate EMF, they're just we see this in, some of the companies that are in our kind of category, the higher end saunas, that will be mitigating the magnetic fields. It's easier, it's less expensive to mitigate those.
Sure.
But then there's that other aspect of
The
it, electric
electrical
fields,
fields.
yeah, and
Yeah.
those can be off the charts, like literally thousands of times higher than the maximum recommended exposure levels. So
Wow.
even in the quote unquote low EMF saunas, you can have that high exposure, so very damaging to the cells and brain and the
So
heart.
damaging. Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah. So you always wanna make sure they're providing both of those numbers, that they are, low. We do have a chart, we help educate
That they're
people.
measuring at the output, at the panel output.
Measuring at the yeah, from the yeah, because you look at some of those studies and they're, like, way far away, a meter away, or they're, using,
Yeah.
testing heaters that, are sold in a different country that they're lower, different electrical, um, so it's not the ones that people are actually purchasing and using, so it's just tough industry. We try to weed through the noise.
I think
We're
that's
very
the thing. That's why Rethink It is a thing for me. I want you to understand the science and then become good consumers, because the reality is it's a great thing that you can be an advocate for your health and holistic health. Like, you can decide what path you want to do. You get some freedom there. But the problem is that it's also based on a consumer, like a marketing world. Like, now you have
right.
to be the one that uses the discernment, that looks through the science, and that figures out, of all these products, that all these fish oils, all these saunas, all the
Yeah,
pick a thing,
yeah.
which one is the best, and that requires some research, and sometimes it's hard to know quite what to ask,
Well,
what am I researching?
right, and I mean,
Yeah,
that's what's
and
tough,
not everybody's an expert on everything,
and people that are sick, you don't have the bandwidth
That's
You
it.
don't have the capacity, it's hard to be an advocate for ourselves sometimes, even though, of course, we
So
should.
true.
But that's why it's so important to have trusted people,
Mhm.
people in your position, people that, they know, they trust that you've done the research, that you've looked at,
Yeah.
if you're recommending it, that's a good company to go with. So,
Yeah.
that's
And it's
important
always
too.
changing.
Well,
It's
ever
often changing.
evolving. Yeah,
Yeah.
new information comes up, you gotta look at that,
Companies
reevaluate.
sell.
Oh, for
Like
sure. So much we've seen that. Yeah, different ownership, and then the product goes
they
downhill.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they truly sell out.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Mhm.
Dave's Killer Bread. I'm thinking of Dave's Killer Bread.
Well, apple cider
It's so sad.
vinegar too, right?
Which one?
Bragg's apple cider
Oh,
vinegar.
yeah.
You heard about
Yeah.
that? Yeah, and I'm like, I
Yes.
love that stuff.
Dang it.
Dang it.
So true.
Yeah.
Well, I wanna finish us off with kind of talking about the unique things about high tech. We kind of done it throughout
Yeah.
the whole podcast, like, talked about what makes, high tech health stand out. It's
Mhm.
obviously my choice in sauna and the one I recommend for my clients, and it's just I find it's very safe. I love
Yes.
it. But let's kind of bullet point it for people, like what distinguishes, high tech health from other saunas, and then we'll leave everybody with a little bit of a discount that they can
Yeah.
apply if they want to pick up a sauna themselves. We'll talk about the different models just real quick because I
Real
know
quick.
I
Yeah.
get these questions like, do they have what kind of saunas do they have? Like that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
we'll kind
yeah.
of finish
A
off with
little
all that. And
overview. Sure, yeah.
yeah,
So, really what sets us apart is our heater design, right? We have patented high-grade stainless steel. Our saunas are gonna look very different than other infrared saunas in the
yes,
industry.
I do.
That usually have those, panel carbon heaters lined the interior of the sauna. Ours are just high-grade stainless steel, curved reflective metal backing. You're not losing any of the energy out of the back. You're getting double the amount of infrared directed at your body. And so we've actually done, there's a calorimetry video on our website where it compares and you're able to see that it heats 34% faster and more effectively than those typical panel heaters. So more infrared equals more benefits. We have the lowest surface EMF levels, total EMF, electric fields, magnetic fields, like we talked about, party tested, verified,
Oh
proven.
yeah.
And then, we sell exclusive far infrared technology, so it's supported by hundreds of clinical studies. That's the main wavelength you want to go with. Just superior, durability, longevity, you know, never had one of our heaters wear out in our 27-year history. They're running strong
Wow.
in homes and clinics
Hmm.
all around the world. And just with the construction of them, we use 100% single wood construction. So there's no plywood, particle board put in there. A lot of companies do that as well, unfortunately. And the problem with that, especially for the, chemically sensitive
Yes.
community,
There's
they
glues.
toxic glues that can
Yeah.
off gas formaldehyde. And especially, as the temperature increases, you get more of that release. And you don't have to worry about that in any of our saunas. So even the most
Amazing.
chemically sensitive can use it without any negative um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Impacts.
impacts on the body.
Amazing.
Yep.
I think everybody should have at least a single person sauna in their house.
Yeah. Oh,
I think it becomes cost effective. Honestly, like if you're doing sauna 4 or 5 times a week, which is where the sweet spot is, right? 4 times is like the minimum sweet spot.
yep.
Like you're ultimately gonna save money over time versus going to a sauna clinic if you have your own sauna. Like
100%, and then you're
that's
not
why
having
I
to
did it.
share the sweat of everyone else, and it's just so convenient. You'll
Yeah,
use it more often. What's really nice about ours is, our two-person is only $400 more than our one-person, and it can
isn't
run
that
off the
crazy?
same electrical. So just a
Wow.
standard outlet. A lot of people don't understand this. I didn't understand this at the time. Even when I was having my own practice, I'm like, "Gosh, it's so convenient to have your own
Yeah.
sauna, like, you can just put it in your home and, like,
And
ours,
just plug it into a normal
just
plug. It
plug
doesn't
it
need a
in,
specialty
put a normal
plug.
plug. The three-person does require a 20 amp, but it's still, 120 volt. But yeah, so convenient, putting it on any type of flooring. There's not that, yeah, and ours are made to be hyper efficient. So you're
Mhm.
saving money in the long run. Electricity, you may notice if you're using it every day, you may notice just like a couple of dollars increase to your monthly
Mhm.
electricity bill. It's not like
Mhm.
hundreds of dollars. I hear that with like
Right.
other types of saunas, and then you
Mhm.
have to deal with like the how it increases the temperature in the whole room and everything. With infrared
Mhm.
saunas, it's you're not
Yeah.
having those yeah, anything
Those
like that.
impacts.
So, yeah, and so it's just very convenient, so nice to have. We have 1, 2, and 3-person options, um,
Mhm.
and we
And
do
with the
have
discount, you may as well get the second sauna because I think you get a good discount.
you do, yes, so anyone who mentions your name when they call in, so they can mention this podcast, they can mention, yeah, your name specifically, they'll get, a special pricing on
Mhm.
top of whatever sale we may have going on. So,
Whoop, whoop. That's
very
huge.
nice. Yeah. Yep.
And you do periodically have sales throughout the year? Do you do Black Friday type sales?
Um,
Just so, because
you
this is
know
probably going to come out right around Black Friday or right before Black Friday, like
yeah, yeah.
October.
We usually do have a good sale. Yeah, our saunas are more, there's more of an upfront cost, like you're investing in your health, but it's something that will give, so many returns. You'll save money in
Mm,
the long run. It's long
so true.
lasting. You'll get you'll have access to all of us on staff that are very knowledgeable. We have a great
Yeah,
customer service team.
oh, they really do.
Yeah, highest quality, no negative exposure. You're going to get the benefits that you're expecting, and yeah, a company that you can trust and feel good about. So, yeah, yeah, we'll have some sales. I would expect
Amazing.
we'll have a Black Friday sale. So definitely
Mhm.
call in, and we'll be able to guide you into to see what's the best fit for you.
Amazing. And I'll put all the information about the website, the beginner protocol and the
Yeah.
contact for, high tech health. And you guys can reach out and get the information from them because I don't know any numbers. I just know that I love my sauna and I highly recommend it. And their new stuff is even better. One of my clients got one of the newer saunas with the
Oh
remote
yeah.
start,
Oh, the
which I
smart
love. So
saunas.
jealous.
Ooh, that's so nice, and something worth mentioning is, like, how we had talked about heat the heat shock proteins and, the physiological adaptations that happen when you get heat acclimated and you're better
Mm,
have response to heat. Um, our smart sauna walks you through how to get those best results, so it gives you adaptive guidance
ooh,
based on the research, like, hundreds of
fancy.
biomarkers, yeah, and it's able to give everyone in your family adaptive guidance. They'll have their own profile,
No
and
way.
it just yeah, maximizes your benefits, takes the guesswork out of it, and it'll tell you when you should use your sauna next and for how long based on that research and
So,
specific to you.
wow. So fancy.
Incredible. So
Wow.
fancy. Yeah.
Amazing.
Just makes it easy. People will use it more often and get those long-term benefits.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It goes without saying. I really do think that's one of the best things you can invest in. I mean, I could go on and on, but
Yeah,
I think we've hit the main
we
points, and
have.
I
Yeah.
definitely think that I encourage people to look into saving for infrared sauna from High Tech Health, and I'm not just saying that. I don't put my name on every product line, but there
Yeah.
are some things where I'm like, No, this is the product line you need." There's just
Yeah.
some products that I know need to go from to this company. And the other thing that makes me really pleased with High Tech Health is that they've maintained their same ownership and the
Yeah.
same theme and their same technology over the time that they've been in. Like 30 years is 3 decades, or 27 years, almost three
Yeah.
decades. Like
Yeah.
that's a long time to maintain that kind of mission forward instead of going and selling out to try to be big, big
Conglomerates.
sales. You can sell
Mhm.
saunas.
Right. Yeah.
You know, if you wanna sell saunas, you can sell saunas. If you really kind of cave and do it cheaper and all this stuff and
Oh, yeah.
market it to ignorant people, you know?
It's so true. Yeah, you can
But
make
you
cute
guys
saunas, you can push them, but we're not willing to sacrifice any of that when it comes to the health of our
Mhm.
customers. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love that. That's why I'm so yeah, so grateful to be connected with them, to be on the medical advisory board here, and,
yeah,
like, I'm the same way as you. I would not be able to, um, recommend something unless I'm fully passionate about it, fully believe in
yeah,
it, and it's something that will, be helpful for people, so,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, Tiffany, I'm so glad you came on today. This
Thank
is so much
you.
easier to talk about sauna with someone who has looked at all the research, is on the medical board,
Yeah.
and has been in the industry a lot longer than me. So I appreciate all your insight, your research, and everything that you provided to the audience today. It's been a great conversation. Do you want to leave us with any last thoughts?
Oh, just thank you so much for having me. Yeah, this was great. And just letting people know, like, yeah, sweat on purpose as
Sweat on
often as you
purpose.
can.
As often as
And
you
sauna
can.
therapy is like the easiest way to support the whole body. So,
So
yeah,
true.
they can reach out. Anybody here on our team, we're ready to help everyone. And yeah, sweat smarter.
Sweat smarter.
Yep.
Awesome. Well,
All
that's
right.
it,
Thank
guys.
you.
Sweat smarter.
Bye.
So I think you guys probably enjoyed that podcast as much as I enjoyed recording it. I certainly hope so. And if today's episode resonated with you at all, share it with a friend who could use some hope. And if you haven't yet, come join me on Instagram at Beyond Brain Health so we can keep this conversation going. Keep an eye out for my upcoming book, Getting Over Going Under, um, how we prepare and recover naturally from anesthesia and surgery. We will be building a community to do better research about this in the process of this book and everything that I'm doing around it. So we really want to build a good community to support better research and better healing options. So subscribe to my newsletter to be the first ones to find out of when this book is available and participate in any future research efforts that we are planning. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and stay empowered.